Would you rather have control of would you rather have force abilities or a lightsaber?
Well, what if you
Force
had both?
abilities.
You would be good swinging like you're not just like me with a lightsaber. Like you wouldn't be yourself with a lightsaber. You would actually have
You don't
like
need a lightsaber if you have force abilities.
Yeah.
Any youngling off the street can get his or her hands on a lightsaber.
Hmm. That's fair. That's fair.
Harvesting younglings.
Oh,
Well,
the younglings.
younglings. Have you guys noticed how? Because they, we'll get into this in a second. But in Obi-Wan, and I think it was episode 2, or maybe it was episode 1. It started the episode. They continuously show more and more younglings that escaped, and it makes me start to wonder how many younglings Anakin actually murdered.
Who were birthing these younglings? Like there must have been a lot of sex happening,
A lot of sex throughout Star
and it must
Wars.
have just dried up because they weren't
Yeah.
grown in labs, were they?
Well, it is the future, so maybe they're all grown in pods.
Yeah, like
Who knows?
maybe they come in packs. Like Pokemon cards, youngling
Youngling
packs.
pack.
You sprinkle it in water and you feed them every once in a while, and they grow
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
like sea monkeys.
Probably. It's the
Um,
best theory I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll hold up. All right,
all right,
Now what?
let's dive into it. Let's make a very awkward segue.
are we recording?
We were recording. We were
Is this
live.
thing live?
We're live. Well, we're kind of live. We're recording. We're not. We're not live. We will be live, but not right now.
I haven't seen episode 3 yet. Is that gonna matter?
Yeah.
We're just gonna spoil it for you.
Just teasing.
Obi-Wan. We're midway through the season,
It's on
and I can tell you guys, I got real confused. The first 2 episodes dropped on a Friday. The third episode dropped on a Wednesday. I was sitting working Thursday at work, and my cube neighbor says, "Hey, what'd you think of the new episode of Obi-Wan?" I was like, "Oh, you're talking about episode 2?" He goes, "No, episode 3." I'm like, "Well, that doesn't hasn't come out yet." He's like, "Yeah, it's been out. Watched it last night." Feel like an idiot.
It doesn't make sense. Is
Did
is
that
Wednesday the
happen
first
to you
day?
guys? Wednesday's the
I
real
didn't
day,
know.
I guess.
Yeah, they just wanted to get everyone excited at the beginning, so they drop them on a Friday, and then only have a short wait until episode 3.
Well, yeah. There's also the Memorial Day dump.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, everything, video games, movies, TV shows, all the biggest shit dropped.
Yep.
You beep out that.
But anyways, we're three episodes in. What do you guys think so far?
Who's going first?
Gordon, I want to hear your thoughts.
I think it's the best of the shows that Disney has come out, whether it's in the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe so far. Mainly because they're not having to really. I mean, yes, they have to come up with some story, but you have this like gap between episode 3 and 4 that you never really know what happened, and there's obviously a chunk of time between the 2 movies, so if it's a good setup already, then I think it's just a story that you can get attached to from the beginning, and it has gotten me attached to it. Obi-Wan's a badass, and
Yeah.
Vader's a badass, so like I'm hoping. I mean, I know we got to see a little bit of a fight in episode 3. I'm hoping Obi like pulls it together and like dusts off his old, Jedi mind tricks and goes back and does some Jedi badassery for the rest of the season. But I'm enjoying it so far.
Gordon, I think I agree with you. It's definitely the best Disney Plus show they've yet to make, and it is definitely living up to the hype of the show. Because I mean, people have wanted to see Obi-Wan come back and have this kind of story of in between episode 3 and 4, and what is he doing? Because he's just hanging out, and so it's definitely so far living up to the hype. I mean, Darth Vader is intimidating as ever. I'm glad Hayden Christensen is he's in the suit, but we also have seen a few other glimpses of him, which I hope we get to see more of that.
He's aged well.
Yes. but yeah, I mean, it's I'm loving it so far. Francis, what are your thoughts? Initial thoughts, at least.
It's I think it's got promise. The first two episodes were tough for me. There was good things that I liked. I think the parts were greater than the whole.
Mm.
Um, you get dropped in, you see some familiar faces. I don't know why everything is like shot like in the same location as every Star Wars show. Do they not have the budget to explore the galaxy a little bit? We're always on like the Iraqi type planets. Um, it's basically sand and sand huts. That's all we get.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think there's a lot there. I'm just confused about what Obi-Wan did for 10 years. Like he's working at like a sushi factory. You know, you think maybe he would polish his weapons and train and stay, sharp, considering he's number one keeping an eye on baby Luke down the street,
Yeah.
and then baby Leia is a hop, skip, and a jump away. You'd think he'd be like, as a protector, I want to stay sharp. But it seems like he let his skills go, and he's like having issues about Anakin Skywalker and all that stuff. Which then I have an issue, kind of like understanding how does he not sense Anakin's presence for a full 10 years?
I think my understanding is that he completely.
The balance. You can feel the balance.
My understanding is that he completely shut himself off from the Force, so he had no feelings from it. That's why when he's trying to save Leia, he's almost bursting a vessel in his head, trying to grab her as she's falling.
Yeah.
I just don't. I also honestly, to this point, I don't know how much I love Obi-Wan Kenobi. I just think he's kind of boring and he's just super reserved. Yes, he's a legend character, one of the most recognizable names in all of movies. He's just like, there's a little girl actress who just does circles around it. And again, I understand that's the whole idea of the show. Princess Leia has that personality. She has the wit. They're instilling it in this young girl, but Ewan McGregor is more. Obi-Wan's more reserved, and he's he's humble. He's like a monk.
So I want to. So I want to go.
It's
back.
just like, in other words, there's promise there. I just need to see more. I think 3 was good,
Right.
but it kind of gave you a nibble, and then it kind of pulled it away from you.
Yes, I want to go back to that though. You made the comment about Leia running circles around Obi-Wan. That is actually there's. I hate nitpicking things, but I always do it. How come nobody can run as fast as a 10-year-old girl?
Terrible.
Or just a 10-year-old child in general?
It was insulting. That scene.
I mean, it's the first 2 episodes. It's that. And then in the 3rd episode, I actually had I was really confused by this. So, Leia is going down that corridor that leads to the ship that she's going to fly off on. The 5th sister goes into the third sister. You're correct. Goes
Somehow
into the corridor.
ends up in front of her.
Ends up in front of her.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Leia is speed. She's been sprinting around Obi-Wan and bounty hunters, but she's not faster than the 3rd sister?
One thing about Disney is you can cheer and jump for joy and complete jubilation with 50% of what you're watching, and the other 50% you can nitpick the hell out of. That holds true for anything they make.
The scene in episode 2 when the bounty hunters are trying to chase her in the woods, watching them trip and fall over trees and have to
Terrible.
they are having to pretend like they were running in slow motion but in real time. It was ridiculous.
There was no need for that chase sequence to be as long as it was.
No.
It's honestly, they're trying to get the young children involved. Get with the families. Come on, little boy and girl, let's watch with dad. While your mother's out shopping.
Yeah.
They gotta sprinkle that stuff in. That's why you have that protector thing where you've got Baby Yoda and Mandalorian and Leia and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I'm really liking the show, and I'm sure. Hopefully, the next 3 episodes will kind of really round off the story here, and.
3 episodes. I mean. They do a lot of wasting. They do a lot of time. Some of the stuff they filmed, it's like they are thinking they have 2 seasons worth of 8 episodes each.
Huh.
You think there would be more of a sense of urgency in what they're filming if it's only 6 episodes? This was going to be a movie once upon a time. Then they just turned it into a series, a more limited series.
Oh.
I'm curious, how'd you guys rank this out of 10 so far? Like, just purely based on 3 episodes, not based on potential.
I'd give it like a 7, maybe base 7.
I'd probably give it an 8.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, all right. I'm at about a 7.
I think with potential of like where the rest of the season could go, it could easily jump up to a 9.
I think before part 3, it was like a 6.5 for me. Like I could have like stopped watching it and not cared, but like 3 was pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be surprised if it gets much higher than. I'd be surprised if I get any higher than an 8, just because you can feel the old, like, the same thing that Disney Plus has been doing in their other series. Like, it seems they drag on with a bunch of stuff that you don't really care about, and they sprinkle in enough to get you interested and keep you hyped. But that's my one worry. Is, I mean, that's what I hate about The Mandalorian and anything else they've put out is.
See,
Well,
I've liked
plot
The Mandalorian a lot more with kind of going in knowing each episode's kind of its own little story. And obviously I think season 2 was a lot better than season 1, but I don't know, I've really enjoyed all of these Star Wars Disney Plus shows. My only biggest criticism is the movies hold them back so much. Whether it's the originals, the prequels, or the sequels, whatever it is, those movies hold back these TV shows a lot.
Because they can't make this without making it about Luke and Leia in here.
Yeah, and you have to fit into this like architecture that has already been written. So like you have these boundaries that you have to live within. So you can have you can let the creative juices flow to an extent, but you still have backstop.
Yeah.
And you can only go so far before what's been written and what's in the lore already.
And you can almost you can, I don't know how many times they're going to rehash like the Inquisitor type, like small like villain that doesn't matter or makes there's a bigger villain out there.
The Inquisitors are actually really cool. At least I think they are.
I just think they're pawns. They're pawns when the king, like when the queen is like in play.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't take them seriously because like I know who we're dealing with. I know the pieces on the board. But like I think they're cool. They're Jedi's converted.
Yeah.
Either they choose to join or get wiped out.
I just get excited thinking that Obi-Wan is going to have the story that Luke had in Episode 4. Like that's what I'm wanting to happen here. But I know that can't happen because
because he's 45 years old and depressed.
No, but it's because Episode 4
Luke was like 18 in a prodigy.
Obi-Wan can't, start a rebellion here and go fight with knowing that Luke has to be the one that kind of jumps in and defeats Vader. It really harpens their storytelling. It's kind of the same thing with The Mandalorian, where it's like, you kind of want to see like Baby Yoda like develop and become this awesome Jedi, but then they can't do that because he's not in the the sequels, Episode 7, 8, 9. So that can't happen.
I don't know if like Obi-Wan's not having a Luke Skywalker experience in this.
No, but you kind of had those moments of him like wanting to almost get back into the fight when he's in that room where they were hiding a bunch of other Jedi kids, and he sees on the wall Quinlan was there. I don't know if you guys know who he is. I had to look him up, but he's like some Jedi that's in some spin-off animated show.
Yeah, no thanks.
But you kind of just saw this inspiration of him like wanting to get back into the fight and help.
I mean, but in every other scene, you see him doing everything he can to not be in a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, super monk-like. I mean, almost it's almost too over the top.
Yeah.
In terms of how.
And then the scene where he fights. The scene where he fights Vader. He's fighting Vader. Well, barely fighting Vader. And
he's just playing defense.
They have the fire, and Vader like throws him into the fire and is dragging him around.
Where did the fire come from?
It came from the fire. The flammable crap that Vader spilled on the ground, and then he lit it on fire with the suit.
Yeah. But then
Did
the
you know-
fire goes out, and then Vader's people can't run around the fire to go grab
Creative.
Obi-Wan.
The filming on that was interesting. They made you think that the limitation was the flame, the two sides.
Why didn't Vader
that
just
flame
force
should've
grab
cooked
him
him.
again?
That flame should have
Why
cooked him alive. He should have burned up.
Also, why didn't Vader just grab him again, force grab him, and just pull him over to him? Like,
Well, he was out of his force energy. He had to recharge.
Yeah, he had to take a potion.
it's Darth Vader.
Well, he's a young Darth Vader, very powerful, very raw. He hasn't really honed in and polished his skill set yet.
It's just that it was a plot device because they had to have Obi-Wan escape, so they had to come up with some BS.
Here's the thing.
Like,
Darth Vader makes it past this series. Obi-Wan makes it past this series. Princess Leia makes it past this series. Luke Skywalker makes it past this series. Like, what's really at stake here? Besides
Nothing.
a drive-through, like McDonald's experience.
Well, that's
You
what I'm
know,
getting at.
nothing.
It's
there aren't any stakes.
yeah. And it's cool to see
I
these
don't care about
stories,
Granny
but it's
Inquisitors at all.
It would have
Maybe
been better
maybe
off.
the Sand Snake woman dies. The woman from.
I
Game
think
of
they
Thrones.
should have found a way to do a story completely without any Skywalker, no Luke, no Leia, like some other
Obi-Wan
reason.
goes to a different universe. Entirely.
Something that they could have created some actual stakes, because at least right now there aren't any. Like, yeah, you can be like, oh no, she's kidnapped, what's going to happen? But like at the end of the day, yeah,
Fine. She's great. She makes it. She lives to be 80 years old in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or however old she was, and she was great. So it's like, I couldn't like Obi-Wan go to like this alternate, where he spends his his late 30s, mid 40s, just living a life, being a badass, helping people.
so was
Like
I was just sitting here thinking about it. Was Solo the only Star Wars media, like live action media, that hasn't had a Skywalker in it?
Was there not a Skywalker? I can't remember it.
yeah, I think so.
My question is,
And it's the worst Star Wars live
it
action.
wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, you compare it against the other crap they put out. It's not. I mean, it's basically the same experience.
Yeah.
I mean,
Other than the last like 10 seconds, Rogue One doesn't have a Skywalker in it.
Yeah, but I mean, the Skywalker shows
got
up.
Anakin and Leia.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Why not just try? Keep trying. It's a universe you're selling. You got to move past the characters once, like these original.
I think,
characters.
yeah, I think they need to move. They need to move to the future, and telling a story that nobody knows how it's going to end.
When are they going to bump into a 10-year-old Han Solo during this 6-episode series?
Yeah.
I think I either want to see. I mean, I don't know what happens in the future because supposedly everything's like the Sith and the Empire have been destroyed now. So like if they were to go into the future with the next story, then they'd have to come up with some just BS way like, oh, now wait, the Empire wasn't destroyed.
If you're mentioning Quinlan, whoever the hell that is, then Darth Maul still is alive in this universe. I don't know. I mean, he was referenced in Han Solo or Solo.
Yeah.
Why isn't he here? Why can't we see him? What's he doing? Is that going to be the tease at the end of this one? Because the stakes have to go somewhere, and I think he's their best play.
I think my guess is he's going to come into the Mandalorian, because they're going back to Mandalore, I think in season 3.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
And Darth
Obi-Wan
Maul was heavily involved in Mandalore. So.
Yeah, but I think you're going to marry the two. I don't know what. Obi-Wan as it stands, I think by himself is 6-episode series, but I think maybe there's more to his time.
I think Darth Maul in Obi-Wan has more relevance and like
yes,
emotional weight to it than somewhere else. Like if he shows up in Mandalorian, then it's like, oh, cool, but like it's just it's more of an Easter egg than it really mattering. Whereas if he shows up in here, then you can at least get like, okay, now you have the emotion of Obi-Wan, the guy who killed his master Qui-Gon Jinn, is back, and
Well,
Guess what?
see, I'm gonna
Darth
just.
Maul. He's Darth Maul survives his injuries because of his hatred for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
So, like, come on, that's why he survived, is because he hates Obi-Wan so much.
Sadly, that was all. But there's the stuff that happens in the Clone Wars, right? The TV show, the
I think they
animated
put it
show.
out. I just can't watch cartoons. I think it's the best thing we put out.
Because Darth Maul is involved with like the fall of Mandalore, and he already kind of hashes it out with Obi-Wan. So I don't know, but hopefully these next 3 episodes finish strong from Obi-Wan.
I think, again, my expectations aren't any higher than a 7. So, and that's not like degrading the series. I think it's
I just
fun.
want to see more interaction between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader than what we've gotten. So,
I mean, we got what, 7 seconds with him in episode 4.
or at least I want to see more of Anakin Darth Vader than Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Just think that Obi-Wan Kenobi is fire retardant. Anakin's not.
Well, that's why
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
should
won
have
that
been-
fight.
Obi-Wan should have been skewered, shish kebabbed,
Yeah.
yeah.
then
But
fired.
all right, guys, let's wrap this up.
All right, excited for episode 4.
We're just rambling.
Many blessings.
Yeah, we'll be back to talk about after the rest of this episode's come out. We'll do kind of a final review, kind of give our final thoughts, and maybe Francis will be wrong, and maybe it'll be like an 8 or 9, or maybe he'll be right and it'll be like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, 8's possible. 9 not possible.
Yeah.
All right.
But we're hopeful. We're hopeful. Bye bye now.
Thanks for watching. Peace.
Right.
Bye bye.